other day, Lord. And Lord, I ask that you bless everyone that gave and those who had it in their heart to give, just didn't have. These things I ask in your name. Amen.
Amen.
to the angel of this house, the under shepherd of this church, my honey, my homie, my lover, and my friend, your pastor, but my pastor boo, Antoine Maurice Funches Sr. To the associate ministers of this church, to Sister LaVonna Mays, our women's ministry president, to Mother Rachel Sellers, our retreat proprietor, to Sister Paulette Williams Thomas, our retreat facilitator, and to my outrageously gymtastic women's weekend team. They have done an outstanding job. To each of you, my father's children, good morning or good afternoon now. As it is customary for me when I stand to give an oration, I want to acknowledge and pay homage to my beloved parents, my angels, the late Reverend Elvin James Simpson and the late Mrs. Catherine Simpson. They were my biggest fans and cheerleaders in life, and even though they have transitioned from this earthly plane, I feel as though their spirits are yet cheering me on. I appreciate them, I love them tremendously, and I miss them daily. Now that we've gone through all the formalities, all of the to these and the to thous, let's get to the assignment at hand. Considering the theme for this Women's Weekend, I want to talk as briefly as the Lord will permit upon the subject, a virtuous servant. The Women's Weekend theme is outrageous gems of God. Gems, gracious, empowered, mature servants of God. Inspired by the virtuous woman passage found in the Holy Writ in the book of Proverbs 31, 10 through 31. For the sake of time, I won't read it, but it is a very familiar passage, and as we know from the very first verse of this chapter, it was written by King Lemuel in reflection of the advice his mother gave him. In verses 2 through 9, she is admonishing him to make better use of his time, to remember his role as king, as a leader, and to stand up for those who can't stand for themselves. But by verse 10, she advises him on the type of woman he should probably seek to be with. I know that as mothers who have sons, we often tell our sons the type of woman we would like for him to bring home. Don't bring us home no mess, or she will be rejected. Amen. It gives the profile of a woman that many Christian women try to align themselves with or either die trying. The description of this virtuous woman, especially of that day, generally outlines and equally suits a woman of any age of maturation, of any familiar kinship, meaning mother, daughter, sister, grandmother, aunt, niece, etc., and of any race. One general or common misconception about this passage is that one had to be a wife or a mother in order to be considered a virtuous woman. But being a woman of virtue does not constitute that you must be married or have children. There are verses that definitely mention how to be a good wife and mother, but preparing your heart for those things can certainly help bring you closer to God. This is why I particularly like this theme. This theme is full of impressive adjectives. Adjectives that can be affixed to any woman or man of virtue. And they would be proud to align themselves with and to be labeled as such. An adjective, as we know, is a word or a phrase naming an attribute that describes a noun, which is a person, place, or thing. Our theme takes 4 words to give an account based on the premises of the caliber and characteristics of the virtuous woman found in our text, or rather the qualities that women and even men should possess. Gracious, meaning to be courteous, kind, and pleasant, or showing divine grace and being compassionate. Empowered, meaning to display confidence, to feel strong, authorized, and sanctioned. Mature, meaning to be fully grown and developed and of substantial age. And servant, meaning to be a personal attendant, one who aids, serves, or performs duties for others. One who is a devoted and helpful follower and or supporter of another. All of these adjectives have great meaning. Again, any woman or man, for that matter, would be proud to be typecast as such. Let someone refer to you as gracious, empowered, mature, or even call you a servant in a non-derogatory fashion. You would be peacock proud or hippopotamus happy, walking around with your chest stuck out and showing all your teeth or whatever is left of them. You feel mighty accomplished and pleased with yourself. But here's what changes the dynamic of these adjectives for me. These smile-worthy labels is the of God on the end. I mean, who wouldn't want to be called a gracious, empowered, mature servant of God? That sounds easy enough, right? But theoretically speaking, is it easy to do? Can we shoulder and handle the responsibility that earns us such a prolific classification? If we really stop to examine ourselves through God's eyes, would the reflection be that of Christ? Would we really see someone who is gracious, showing divine grace, compassion, and mercy to others? Will we see ourselves as empowered, walking in the authority that God grants us through his precious Holy Spirit and through his holy word that gives us confidence in him? Or will we see ourselves entitled, walking around acting as though we automatically deserve his blessings by default, regardless of how we act or treat others? If we looked at ourselves through God's eyes, would we see maturity, displaying the attributes of a fully grown Christian, walking in the word of God and encouraging others? Or will we just simply see someone who has been coming to church all of their lives, working on all the committees, holding all the titles, and thinking that that's enough while we're really just sipping on Similac or perish the thought, not getting anything at all? And then there's that word servant. Servant. This is kind of where I want to hang my hat. Servant. Do we really understand the weight of that word? Can we really and truly shoulder it? Being a servant requires a selfless rendering of ourselves, of our own needs, desires, and wants. It is putting the needs of others before our own at times. But now apply that to God. Have we been selflessly rendering unto God what he desires from us? Do we set aside our desires to surrender our service to him? One of my favorite gospel artists, Vanessa Bell Armstrong, penned these words. She said, "What shall I render unto God for all of his blessings? What shall I render and what shall I give?" She goes on to answer in the next verse, "With all that I can render is my body and soul. That's all I can render and that's all I can give." And I want to ask you, have you rendered unto the Lord your mind, your body, and your soul? Have you traded in your will for his will? Are you acting out in God's divine order, or are you just plain old out of order? Amen. But what does virtuous mean? It means to have or to show high moral standards. It means that one does not accept or go for just any old thing. But one thing that we must understand is that in order to be a virtuous woman or a virtuous servant of God, is that it does not require perfection. This is why I stated earlier that so many Christian women strive to align themselves with the Proverbs 31 woman, or either they die trying. She sounds like she was an immaculate, dutiful, and devout woman of God. She seems like she was the picture of perfection, a perfect Patty, or even a Stepford housewife. But that is not what God requires of us. Not perfection, because we are an imperfect people. But he does require us to live a life that is full of purpose, one that practices diligence, forgiveness, and repentance, a life with high morals or Christian standards, and a meek and lowly heart. These are the attributes that this proverbial virtuous woman possessed. And as Pastor says, if you don't believe me, it's in the text. Working on becoming a Proverbs 31 is something that should be practiced daily, no matter where you are in your walk with Christ. The virtuous woman is a woman of faith. She serves, there's that word again, the Lord with all her mind, all her body, and all of her soul. She seeks the Lord's will for her life and follows his ways. Meanwhile, we're yet struggling in life because we refuse to surrender our own will to God's will. We are yet worrying and fretting, trying to figure things out. But as the old preachers would say, while we're trying to figure it out, God has already worked it out. In being faithful, we should speak the truth and earn the trust of others. We should be faithful not only enriching our lives, but the people around us as well. According to Dean Van Dorff, the idea of a virtuous woman is an interesting one for both women and men, both married and unmarried. For we all hope, or at least we should hope, in God's sight. In other words, there are some attributes within this text that we all should be striving to become. I recognize that this text seems to be geared toward a married woman, but the more I read it and the more I studied it, I saw that every man and every woman can glean from this passage. Even for the single ladies, there are things within this text about the husband that you should want in your man. The husband in this text finds value in her. Verse 10 says her price is far above rubies. That means she is highly valued. He respects her. He admires her. And he loves her. I'll say it again. He values her, respects her, admires her, and he loves her. And as we learned at the Congress from the Reverend Carson Barnes III, third time's a charm, so y'all can catch it. He respects her. He values her. He admires her, and he loves her. That means if a man values you, then he will love you, and he will cherish you, and let no harm come to you. You need to stop making excuses for these deadbeat bums who treat you like you are less than nothing, and who play on your emotions, manipulating you to do things you know doggone well you got no business doing. I tell you, it's a trick from the pit of hell, and the devil is a liar. You are worth more than that. And if you are striving to be a virtuous woman, the Bible says that you are valued. You need to know your worth, and more so ask your worth. The Bible also says that this husband trusts her. Basically, she holds the confidence of her man. She's not on the phone telling all of her business, on Facebook posting these statuses about the latest tragedy of their relationship. He has confidence in her work ethic, her integrity, as well as her faithfulness. She's mature in her dealings. These attributes are applicable to the men as well, but recognize that trust is earned and should never be given. These are characteristics of a gracious, empowered, and mature servant of God, a virtuous woman, or a virtuous servant of God. The virtuous woman, this gem, is rich in the spirit of grace. She is a source of wealth, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. She is a woman of substance and substantially resourceful. She is empowered because she is clothed in strength and honor, and mature because she speaks with wisdom. She has something worthwhile to say. Some of us are clothed in bitterness and low self-esteem, hating on the next person, trying to tear them down. Get it together and quit being a hater. So what? She has lighter skin than you. You better recognize that melanin is gold, baby. And so what if she got the man you wanted? He wasn't yours in the first place. Or so what if she makes more money than you? You better figure out what your passion is and make it work for you. We've got to learn how to lace our words with love, encouragement, and wisdom. We have to learn how to be gracious, empowered, and mature towards one another. We need to do as my mother would say, taste your words before you speak. And if they taste nasty or bitter, or if they tear down rather than lift up, then put something that tastes better in your mouth and be quiet. We should always strive to speak with kindness and be wise with our words. This virtuous woman, or this virtuous servant, like Christ, has a servant's mentality and a servant's heart, thereby enriching everything surrounding her. She reaches out to help the poor and those who are less fortunate or diminished in encouragement and inspiration. These attributes are also applicable to the man. One thing that I love and sometimes hate about my husband is that he is a true servant. He constantly serves the people, and he seeks new avenues and opportunities in which he can serve the people. He faithfully and diligently served our late pastor, Dr. Shelton Hall, until his death. He faithfully and diligently served our pastor, Dr. Alvin Love, and he still serves him to this day. You better believe if Dr. Alvin Love calls him and says he needs anything, about relationship and not religion or tradition. If you have no relationship with God, how can you truly serve him, let alone serve him with gladness? To know God is to know his word and to love his people. And God does not forget the service you render unto him, for the Bible says in Hebrews 6:10, for God is not unjust to forget your work and labor of love, which you have shown toward his name in serving the saints. In other words, we ought to do as Psalms 100 verse 2 says, and serve the Lord with gladness. You should serve the Lord with all your heart, and with all your mind, and with all your soul. Being a gem is great. It's a beautiful thing. It's a precious thing. It's a cherished thing. It's a valuable thing. A gem is even greater when it is under pressure or rubbed rigidly or buffed. How so, you might ask? Because it glistens and shines even more. It shines brighter. So being a gem is great, but when I add servant of God to it, that makes it even greater. That makes one a virtuous servant, and that's more better. Jesus Christ himself was a virtuous servant. The Bible says in Mark 10:45 that even the Son of Man came not to be served, but to serve, and to give his life for many. And if sacrificing your life for folks who may never love you or come to know and accept you as their personal Savior and an act of service, then I don't know what is. Jesus was a selfless servant. And as I told you earlier, being a servant requires that you are selfless. God wants us to serve him out of joy and jubilation and not out of reluctance and obligation. Being a servant doesn't necessarily mean having a lowly position, but it requires one to have a lowly heart. Some of us haven't mastered the selfless part of serving. Some of us are self-righteous servants. We want to be seen and we want to be rewarded externally. That doesn't make you a gracious, empowered, or mature servant. That virtually makes you grumpy, entitled, and mad. Because self-righteous service is service with a pompous and nasty attitude. But as a virtuous servant, we must serve the Lord with gladness. We must serve the Lord with joy. We must serve the Lord with thanksgiving. We must serve the Lord just as Christ Jesus served us. We must serve the Lord with love, with meekness, and a lowly heart. Johnson Oldman Jr. wrote that there is not a
Told us that gems are spiritual and how they were spiritual. And today we have our very own, our First Lady. Was at any age. And she told us the qualities of a virtuous woman. But I love the fact that she put men in there. Because we want our men, just like they want us to be virtuous, we want them to be the same way. And she said, she asked a question, do you see yourself through God's eyes? And those are things you have to give some serious thought to. Then she told us how to be a servant. And she also told us we're not perfect. So we shouldn't try to be perfect. We're only perfect in Christ. And we're only perfect when we're in heaven with Him. She told us what God's requirement is for us to be virtuous. Because what we think is virtuous may not be what God thinks is virtuous. And she said, know your worth, ladies. Know your worth. And men, you have to know your worth also. Then she took us to the cross. And she told us about Jesus and how He was a servant unto us, unto death. But then He rose again. And that we might have life. And Fontes, she gave honor to her husband. Ladies, give honor to your husbands. Lift them up. Don't break them down. I have a poem that I'd like to read. This poem was written by, her name is Mona Lake Jones, and it was printed in the General Standard newspaper. It says, a room full of sisters, like jewels in a crown, vanilla, cinnamon, and dark chocolate brown. Now picture yourself in the midst of this glory, as I describe the sisters who are part of this story. They were wearing purple, royal blue, and all shades of red. Some had elegant hats on their heads. With sparkling eyes and shiny lips, they moved through the room, swaying their hips. Speaking with smiles on their wonderful faces, their joy and laughter filled all the spaces. They were fashionable and stylish, and in what they were wearing, kind sisters were loving and caring. You see, it's not about how these sisters appeared. Their beauty was in the values they revered. They were smart, articulate, and well-read, with all kinds of history stored in their heads. Jugglers of professions, managers of lives, mothers of children, lovers and wives. Good-hearted, reaching out to others, giving back to the community, and supporting our brothers. And all these sisters struggled to the past, suffered from prejudice, endured the wrath. But they brushed off their dresses and pushed on the door, and they came back stronger than ever before. Now imagine, if you will, the joy and the thrill as you stand feeling proud in the heart of this crowd. A sisterhood of modern sojourners today, still out in front, blazing the way. A room full of sisters, like jewels in a crown, vanilla, cinnamon, and dark chocolate brown.
Sister Country,
We knew you could do it. As Sister Rachel said, we had a great time on Friday. We had a great time on Saturday. We had a great time today. All the women that supported with the purse drive that we had this week, it was a success. We had a lot of purses. And I'm sure the women who did the thing will be well pleased. So that's all I have to say.
Amen. Thank you so much. Some of you may be wondering why I did Mother Rachel and remarks, but I just want to let you know that Mother Rachel has already stated she's our retreat proprietor. This Women's Weekend would be nothing without her brainchild. So this is why we wanted to make sure that, again, we pay homage to her. She's yet living in the name and honor of her. So we always want to show her Mays is the president for our women's ministry, our women's mission. We want to make sure that we allow her an opportunity to speak. Amen. I just stand and want to say thank you, first and foremost, to my pastor, my husband, baby, I love you so much. You know that. I'm going to love you again later tonight. I love you, and I want to thank you for trusting me with the opportunity to stand before the people that you lead and shepherd to speak on today. I pray that I didn't embarrass or let you down. To this wonderful, wonderful Women's Weekend team, those who are in the sanctuary that play part of the Women's Weekend team, can you please stand? I want them to just see who you are. This team is an amazing team. Thank you all so much. This team is an amazing team. As you see, we have young ladies, our teenagers working on the team as well. They serve as our baristas. They help blow balloons and put tablecloths down. And so I wanted to use everything. And if you notice in your program today, those who led us in worship, it was mother-daughter teams. So I wanted to highlight that and get our young adults out here and show that they are coming along and working in our church. I have a few things that I want to share with the women of St. Paul. Oh, and then to our retreat facilitator, Sister Paulette Williams-Thomas. Can you please stand?
I got it from here.
She's holding her but she did such an amazing job yesterday, and she was talking and she was teaching us. I'm like, man, she on the speech. That's all right. My girlfriend sitting around me and say, that's confirmation, girl. That means y'all working together in the Lord. But she gave us a lot to think about. We talked about what happened to Big Mama. Y'all remember Big Mama? We miss Big Mama. Big Mama is needed in the society today. Some of these kids that are on Ritalin and Prozac and all this stuff, or they put them in remedial classes, all they need is a good butt whooping and they'll be all right. Amen? They butt whooping some prayer and they all right. Amen? I have a few things. Renee and Kennedy, if you can grab some of those out of the box and give them to every woman in St. Paul. One per woman. Bring it. One of the things I wanted to do, I try to do a giveaway every year, and this is our bag that we give away to all the women. It has our nice church emblem on it, designed by your First Lady, and it has our church website on here. So we want to make sure that every woman has this year. Thank you, my man. Thank you again. God bless you all.
Church say amen. Amen again. One more time. Amen. Before I make my remarks, Sister Owens, would you come?
Good afternoon. Bunches, will you please come? Lake, Wisconsin, that they should be the speaker. So she was nominated, but she said, no, I'm not going to do it. I can't do it. So then, I think it was in April, she had to speak for the Women's Initiative at the state board meeting, Ministers' Wives. And so I heard that she did a phenomenal job there. She was like, still, I can't do it. I'm not doing it. So somehow Pastor got hold to that information and told her that she was going to do it. And so we just thank you, Pastor, for allowing the Lord to tell you to tell her to do it. And so we thank you so much for just being obedient. You can go buy you a cheeseburger with this and some French fries. And Paulette told us yesterday we need to share our French fries. So she said she not share. But thank you so much for that word this morning. We just love you and just know that God is using you so tremendously. You know, some people were skeptical about the white party, but we had so much fun showing. I was running out of the Boys and Girls Club trying to get my white on so I could get over here, but I just thank God for the creative mind that God has given her and just allowing her to use here at St. Paul. So we just love you and thank you.
The Lord is good. His mercy is everlasting, and His truth endureth to all generations. I was getting dressed this morning, and I pulled out me a blue and white tie. And she says to me, "What's your birthstone?" I said, "Opal." It's October, it's opal. She said, "Well, that ain't your color. It's supposed to be pink." See, some I can't even pronounce tourmaline or opal. And I said, "I don't like wearing pink. Just put the pink tie on, you'll be fine." And I get here, and what happened? I'm running to 3 of my mothers. "Reverend, you look good." Will all of the ladies please stand? Give yourselves a round of applause. You all look fabulous. Hey, Oscar, you don't hear this ringing?
I'm working on it now.
Slide the black down. There you go. It's the floor monitors, 5 and 6. Now slide the black down a little bit. Amen. You all may receive. You all did a fabulous job. I was here all weekend. It was not my intent to be here all weekend. I guess that's Mother Rachel said, you know, she was trying to tell me to be quiet in such a nice way. She says to me, I was saying, Mother Rachel, I've been trying to be here all weekend. She says, well, you know, Reverend, when, you know, when your spouse is kind of over things, whether we know it or not, we're going to be involved. In other words, do what you're supposed to do and shut up. I got it, Mother Rachel, I got it. Thank you all, thank you all. They've been, I guess I can finally get my office back. They've been meeting in my office, got boxes in my office. Team, we're the team. Let's get it cleaned. So I can get my office back. Wonderful job. My late pastor, Dr. Sheldon Jerome Hall, he said, when you get married, you marry somebody you can stand and look at. And somebody who got some brains. That's what he told me. I think I did all right. Marry somebody you can stand and look at. If you can't stand and look at it, you might not want to marry. And got some brains. that when the looks fade, because time will take its course, you got somebody that's got some sense. Amen. 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 She did a wonderful job. Our First Lady did a wonderful job. And she went and got to the cross. And I thought she was going to say, now, Lord, he got up that Sunday morning. I was looking for her to do that at that point. She got to the cross. Y'all hungry? Y'all, I'm stalling. Because I want to make sure the food ready when y'all get down there to eat. Amen. 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 Y'all ready to go?
Amen.
Yeah. So I need your help, St. Paul. I need your help. This week, starting Tuesday. First of all, those of you that know, Mother Fleming has been ill, and she's been in a nursing facility, right? She, at her last day in the nursing facility is Monday. Cut the side podium mics off. It's Monday. Tuesday, she's going to meet someone to stay with her around the clock until Friday. I need your help. I need as many people that can will go and sit with her Monday through Friday during the day. During the day, if you can, go and sit with her. And just so you know, this is her last week here. So I would encourage you guys to go by. She's going to stay with her daughter in Kentucky. And they're leaving Saturday morning. So if you want to see her, go by this week. But if you can sit with her, please let Deacon Fleming know. Amen. Keep young August in your prayers. He goes up for surgery tomorrow. He messed his knee up on the football field, and he's due to have surgery tomorrow in Rockford. So keep him in your prayer as well. Amen. Amen. Let me thank those people now who are down in the kitchen. I know some of them are not here. They've been preparing. They're down in the kitchen now, preparing dinner for us on today. Amen. Amen. All hearts and minds are clear. Let's rise like yeast. Let's go with all might. All night.